We are excited to introduce you to the brand new Community Pay It Forward app. First, head to Google Play and download it by searching for Community Pay It Forward or simply scan the QR code on your screen. Simply find your Partners tab on the bottom of the screen. Open the Giving Partners tab and explore the businesses that care. Choose a partner that satisfies your personal needs. Shop with a purpose. Do business with your chosen partner either online or through their pay portal or in store. If you shop in person, please don't forget to keep your receipt. And now the magic happens. Start your donation. In the app, tap the Start Donation process. Enter the partner's name, purchase date, and the amount spent. Take a quick photo of your receipt or upload it from the memory in your device. Choosing your mission to support is the most important part of this process. What touches your heart? What drives your emotions and makes you want to support them? There are so many wonderful people doing fantastic things, and they can be found under the Mission Partners tab on the bottom of the app. Confirm and submit, and that is it. You can also discover further features on the app, such as joining local events in your community, tracking your personal impact and donation history, keeping your profile up to date in the Account tab. All this with our easy-to-access features like dark mode and larger font size. This will allow you to do your business and browse the app with comfort and accessibility. Are you a small business owner? You can join us too. Download the partner booklet directly from the app, pick your package, and instantly become part of a positive solution. The Community Pay It Forward app makes it easy to turn everyday shopping into meaningful change. Download it today and help us create a stronger, more connected community. Because at Community Pay It Forward, we believe no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. This wall took 2,500 years to build. We don't have that long. That's why your support means so much. Please, donate or volunteer and join the Community Partner Honor Wall. Because community takes us all. So please, join us today.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her life, left at night, stepping out of her fear. Bring me home, out alone.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. Welcome to, man, that's a lot of information around me. Welcome to Community IMpACT. There's a lot of information around me because there's a lot of new stuff happening. First off, we got a brand new app. We need you to download that. It's the quickest, it's the easiest way. Well, maybe not the quickest, but it is the easiest way to donate to other people in the world. You shop with our wonderful partners. They give me a referral. You get to choose where that money where a portion of that money goes. Gives back to people who need help everywhere. Just an example of this. I talked to a lady today who is in Africa. And when I met with her, she was sitting there and she had tears in her eyes. And we've still got to do some more checking and making sure everything's good and everything's legit. But I mean, she went to school to try to better herself. Stop me if you've heard this story before. She went to school. She tried to make life better for herself. And now, because of school loans and stuff, she's in a lot of trouble. So, um, those are the kind of things that we're just trying to help. We're trying to help people out. So you can always help us. But download the app now, whichever arm I go to. Download the app now. You can help us out. You can become a partner. So many cool things, and it's only going to be getting better. Down in the corner, you can become part of the chili cook-off. Look, I don't care if you're in Kansas, Wyoming, you're in Colorado. We're only a couple hours away. Come and join us. Let's have fun. Let's do some good. Let's get some books and board games into Northern Colorado hospitals. I need a couple volunteers immediately to help us with the website and the app. Plus, there's a new program coming out. We're going to be talking to the students that are doing that on Friday. I guess it's not tomorrow. I thought it was tomorrow, but it's not until Friday. So I've got all that done. So please scan all these. If you need any more information, just get a hold of me. That is my down there. That one is my for my card. That's my digital business card. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Now, I am thrilled to introduce a brand new giving partner, which means when you call her, when you hire her, and you say, you know what, I found you through Community Pay It Forward, that means she's going to give us a referral. And that referral is going to become a donation to somebody in the community who needs our help. I am thrilled to bring her on for our first, we'll see if it happens again, but we don't know yet. But for our first Lynnsday, Lynn Sabulski. How are you doing?
So much for the warm welcome, Zach. I'm doing really well. I am super excited to be on the Community Pay It Forward Pact channel for my first appearance and to share a little bit about what I do and do some tarot readings on the air. And again, thank you for the warm welcome. I'm excited to be part of the family.
Well, we're absolutely thrilled to have you here. You know that the other my other half is into the paranormal. She's really active in the paranormal world, and so it's really neat to kind of bring the two together and do it in a way that we're here to help people, and that's what makes this so special. So here's the way it works, folks. Go to your chat on whatever outlet, whatever social media you're on. Go to the chat, type in your question, and here in about 5 minutes, Lynn will start doing her thing and showing us what we do. So just put it in the chat. We are having a problem with the Facebook page on which is Community Pay It Forward. Go figure. It is not showing the show, but if you go to Packed Podcasting on Facebook, let me go on ahead and banner it and put it here. Doink. If you go to Packed Podcasting on Facebook, we are there. We are live. We're on there right now. I can kind of scroll down and hit the live button, and yep, there I am. That is most certainly me. I had to tell myself to be quiet. So, but anyway, Lynn, tell us a little story. Tell us on how this came about. How did you decide? Well, this is it. This is what I want to do.
It was not quite a planned decision, as you know. When I first started working out of college, I was working as a college financial aid advisor. So most of my work had to do with counseling students about their student loan debt, when they were taking it on, when they were trying to get rid of it, how to get out of default, those types of things. And one night I had a vision of my hands shuffling tarot cards, and I could only see the backs of the cards, and the backs of the cards were blue and they had this very distinctive white design on them. And when I woke up, I just felt like this had kind of lodged in. I felt like it was important, and so I went to a metaphysical store near where I lived and talked to this person, Terry, who I felt was, a legit psychic and tarot card reader and astrologer. And I said, hey, I had this vision. There were these tarot cards, they were blue and white. Do you know any tarot decks that have blue and white backs? And she looked at me like, hmm. And she said, most of us are a lot more familiar with the artwork on the fronts of the cards, and no one really knows or cares what the backs of the cards look like. So I said, okay. So I went home and I decided I was going to start looking for these tarot cards. So I was Googling, blue and white design tarot card backs for months, and I didn't find that deck. And I decided, okay, that was just a dream. It wasn't anything important. But I still felt like there was something that was still resonating. And so one night I went online and bought Easy Tarot Handbook for $10 that came with a deck of cards. It was a very like Wile E. Coyote moment. And I started teaching myself how to read tarot. And it came to me very easily. The tarot cards themselves have their own meaning, but then we all live lives that have meanings, and we all, consume books and TV and movies, and we have experiences with meaning also. And so it's not as overwhelming as you think to learn a whole system of cards. Life experience. I learned how to read tarot, and I had had a brief hiatus in Pennsylvania, went back to New York City, started dating the person who is still my partner, and one day we went into a bookstore and he bought me the deck that I had seen in the vision gift. I didn't know until we got back to the apartment and we opened the box and I saw this blue and white design. And at that moment it was like the hair stood up on my arms. I just, every sense felt electrified. It was like time stood still. And, at that point, there was no more doubt that this was a thing that I was going to do. And just like, I feel like a lot of people have moments in life sometimes, and the way that those things roll out, once you make the decision, okay, I'm going to go where I'm being intuitively led, it's like, and it did, and that was roughly 13 years ago, and here I am on your show.
Oh, I wonder, and what was that thought when you opened opened that package and you saw that deck that you pictured? And what was the first thought in your head other than I mean, I'm pretty sure it was like what I mean, I know in my head that would have been the first what but what was the first thought in your head when you opened the package and boom, there it was?
I think the first thought was along the lines of, oh, it's real. Because, you know, when people have intuition, and a lot of people do, there are lots of people walk around, they're intuitive as all get out, but they don't necessarily realize that they're having a different experience than everybody else.
Hmm.
There are so few avenues, especially years ago. As of this recording, I'm 46 years old. So growing up, these things were nowhere near as prevalent as they are today. Finding that conversation about intuition is hard. What people mostly get told is you're making things up. This is something that you saw or were exposed to and you just forgot about it and it's lodged in your subconscious and then it's going to come back, or this is something that you want but you're afraid to say out loud and so it shows up in your dreams. And, you know, these things are all possible. And I fully believe in investigating those, potential sources of information when things like that happen. But
Oh no, we
And
lost her for okay.
in those intuitive moments and leaning in and understanding that it's not something that you need to be afraid to follow.
Okay, well, we lost your picture, but I can hear you. Hopefully, it'll come back up soon. But
I think your sound cut out.
oh, my sound went out. That that's not good. We're working on getting her back in here. So as soon as that happens, there we go. So there you're back. So um, what is the thing that you tell people? Because one of the things that I hear all the
I'm
time.
sorry, Zach. I still don't have sound for you.
Oh, you still don't have sound. Um, okay, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, you might need to go out and come back in.
I'm still not able to hear you though, Zach.
Okay, let me do this real quick. Gotta love technology.
Go ahead and come back in. Okay, I will see you momentarily.
Okay, so it's really funny uh, listening to what she's saying because these are things that I hear from my wife all the time. And we talk about why in the paranormal world, why kids are so affected a lot of times by these things, by entities and stuff like this. And quite frankly, it's just because they're still open to learning everything. You're never ever ever going to be smarter than than you were as a child because you can hear and you can learn everything when you're a child. Your mind isn't closed to anything. So, can you hear me now? Oh no, but I can't hear you. Okay, there you are. There you are. There you are. Okay, good, good, good. So, yeah, what do you tell people when they talk about having the fear? It's like, well, geez, I can't let people know that I think I hear things.
Well, I think the first people are afraid of, I'm assuming based on my experience, is afraid of being invaded. They're afraid of the idea that they are open, they don't realize or that they don't control. And I think, lots of things that fall under psychicism, the paranormal, people who have intuitive abilities are often portrayed as these all knowing people that are just kind of wandering around and can just pull up any piece of information from anyone. They can read your mind. They're reading your mind right now. I mean, if you think about that, that's terrifying. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near someone with those abilities. The reality is that it's a lot more nuanced. There's a mix of factors that goes into what people are able to intuit and whether that skill is turned on or turned off, so to speak. So there's that aspect that people are afraid that something is going to invade and suddenly all of their waking breaths are going to be taken up by impressions that they're getting and that they're going to lose control of their lives. I think the next thing that people are is full mental health conversation. That's an intimidating conversation for people who are not having any type of paranormal experience. But when people do have an experience and they say, hey, I think, I just saw the ghost of my grandmother, or I just had this vision that seemed to come true, or I heard this voice, or I'm seeing these numbers, or whatever it is. Again, popular culture tends to kind of lump all of that into you're having some sort of psychosis. I think the fact that psychic and psychosis have the same root really doesn't help people distinguish that in their minds. And so, Those are some things. And then lastly, you have the spiritual aspect where so many people have been brought up in faith traditions that say anyone who, claims to have an intuitive or a psychic ability is sent from some sort of evil place to do evil work, and you should not interact with that. Um, so all of those things combined make it an intimidating conversation to have. And, it requires a lot of vulnerability on somebody's end to say, hey, I've experienced something.
We talked earlier about how a lot of people see this as just for entertainment. But that's not the way this is. This could be there's nothing wrong with the entertainment factor, but this can be so much more.
I agree. And I think, I'm of a few minds for entertainment purposes only is a responsible way to people who, given the opportunity, will become dependent on things like astrology readings. Every time they have a moment of uncertainty, rather than kind of sitting with it and listening to their intuition, or maybe calling a wise friend or advisor or therapist, they say, hey, let me go to the cards. Hey, let me go to the oracle. Um, and I think that there has to be some sort of legal phrase that insulates people from that kind of behavior and insulates people from somebody like myself claiming to be a goddess or channeling something that has control. Like, I'm just a regular person who happens to be intuitive and I have a deck of cards. It doesn't actually make me special in any way. That being said, you're absolutely right. Tarot readings are an opportunity for people to engage with whatever comes up. And sometimes it is something that is, highly emotionally charged, or something that's kind of on their plate at the moment. And they use that opportunity to gain some clarity, to gain some perspective. It's similar to a conversation you would have with, like, your hairdresser or your barista or your auto mechanic. There's all sorts of people that fill this role in our lives as kind of, trusted advisor. But the magic part is that quite often these cards bring up things that are relevant. We say, hey, how did that work? And that's the experience that I think really helps shift people from a feeling of powerlessness to a feeling of, hey, I have the answers within me. I can even, from a spiritual perspective, I can contact what I perceive to be a higher power or some type of assistance, and it's okay. And I could just move forward and be all right like that.
Are there questions that people ask you that you're just like, no, I'm not getting into that?
Um, in general, I don't like to read about other people. Like, if you said, if you said to me, "Hey, do a reading about my wife," even though
Yeah, she would know I'm talking about her and I'd get my butt kicked. So, no, that's not going to happen.
I would tell you no, unless there was something very specific going on with her where you were, like, concerned. If in general, if somebody says, "Hey, I think this person might be a dangerous character," or something like that. Can you pull a few cards and kind of get a vibe? Absolutely. But generally speaking, I think, you know, privacy is really important for people. And, we're all on our journey. We're all at different parts of our journey. So somebody might show up in a reading acting like a real jerk one day, and that doesn't mean that they're not going to be an awesome person 2 months from now. So I think it's important, to keep people focused on their own perspective and their own issues rather than trying to look at things that are going on with other people.
Well, we have a really good friend in the audience, and I told her that if she had any questions, we would break off because I know she's got to run here real quickly. But please, Wendy, if you had a question, if you would like Lynn to answer, please put it in the chat, and we will make sure that she gets to your question first. I have a really, really good friend that I met with when I was the producer of Reverend Sean Whittington's show, and her name is Susan Ahern. She is the Cape Cod and psychic, and she is such a wonderful person. And she didn't want to conjure. You know, people wanted them to. You know, people wanted her to talk. You know, talk to people, and she said that that's not it. If they want to say something, they come to you. But to conjure something, it's dangerous.
I'm not trying to conjure anything.
Yeah.
I certainly, because the honest truth is we don't know what's involved with things like tarot readings and astrology. We don't know how much of that is some sort of paranormal thing versus a normal biological thing that we just don't have enough science on yet. And so I think from a general perspective, yes, it makes sense to think before you enter. um, I'm a prayer person. I always have been, I always will be, and believe that if you saying a prayer, hey, I'm welcoming in, anyone or anything that has a good intention toward me and is coming in love and is coming from, healing and a high vibration level and all that kind of stuff. And I, ask to be protected and so forth. I think those are just good general practices, almost like a spiritual hygiene. But yeah, I wouldn't try to like conjure anything.
Yeah.
Or an intermediary. I mean, if you want to have a conversation with something that's floating around, you don't need me to do it.
Yep. Well, let's see what the cards have to say for Wendy. Wendy's question is: I am launching my new book, "How to Live Like a Rock Star," tour bus optional on Saturday. Any insight on how to, or as how to it will go, or how it will do? Sorry,
Gotcha.
sorry, Wendy, I butchered your question. You tried to get fancy wording on me, and I'm just
You,
sausage tongue got in the way.
I did bring the infamous deck. This is the
There
equipment.
you go. Perfect.
It's like all tarot decks that get old after so many hundreds of people handling them, they kind of have a dignified retirement and then come out for special events. So that's what we've got on tap.
Thank you very much for forgiving me because my tongue really got in front of my words there. So
Okay, is shall we begin?
please,
Okay, I have my cards out. I'm just going to go through the different ones and how I'm interpreting them, and then at the end, like you said, if Wendy has questions, we'll go and take a side break. So, the first card that I'm pulling, ironically, is the High Priestess. And so, when we pull the High Priestess, this means somebody who already has really good intuition, who could definitely also be reading tarot or doing astrology or something like that. So, that card is actually symbolizing Wendy, meaning that she already has really good intuition
yep,
that they to rely on. So, that's that card. The underlying card is the Seven of Swords. Swords are air energy, it's thoughts, ideas, facts. It's not like a super fuzzy sort of thing. And the Seven of Swords talks about people taking work or taking information. And so the combination of those two would suggest that at least one time there was an instance where somebody was maybe taking information and claiming it to be theirs, or giving issues with some sort of reference that's being made in this book. And now there's this idea of like, am I being paranoid, or is there really some sort of theft happening here? We have in the past position Two of Cups. Cups is water energy, it's feelings, emotions, it's generally positive. Two of Cups talks about close friend or a close partnership. And so, where would this potential conflict in data or conflict in rights to property, where would that have come in? That would have come in between people who were already trusted friends, where you would think that that situation wouldn't happen. What to do about it? We have a reverse five of rods or wands. Wands are fire energy. That's our element of doing. And the Five of Rods talks about conflict. However, the card is reversed. And so, what the message is literally saying is don't start any type of conflict, don't move into any type of conflict if it presents itself. The reversed Knight of Rods in the future spot. What does that mean? Um, we have court cards, they're characters in tarot, they all have different authority levels, so to speak. The knight is someone who gets sent in by the king and queen to handle a situation. And we have this rods energy, which is, again, we know is fire. And so a knight of rods is literally rushing into a situation in a fiery way, like, hey, what am I going to do about this when I get here? Again, this card is reversed, and so it's implying, hey, even if your first intuition would be to go in and, guns blazing, so to speak, the reading is saying to hold back. Under fears and concerns about this situation, we're pulling a Nine of Cups. Um, the Nine of Cups talks about situations where somebody pours out feelings and then another person, you know, kind of gives out advice or wisdom that is appropriate to that situation. And so there's a way to approach the situation that is kind of charging in, that is less suggested. The more suggested path is to go to either a trusted advisor, a trusted circle of friends, a trusted group, and have a consultation on the side. We're talking Nine of Cups. That's something that involves a lot of people and maybe some more perspectives on this situation that are available rather than what's just on face. You're also pulling a Four of Rods or Wands. This is traditionally a marriage card, and so within the context of a business arrangement is a long-term business partnership. And so again, the reading is suggesting by going the route of having a conversation with some trusted advisors rather than trying to face the situation head on. In that conversation with trusted advisors, you may form some relationships that are long term beneficial. The Four of Swords is also reversed. The Four of Swords talks about someone who is putting aside their thoughts, their analysis, their data, their rationalizations. They're putting it down and they're saying, okay, I need a rest. I just need to take a break from that. Your Four of Swords is reversed. And so effectively, what that says is, yes, you've had some stressful thoughts, but the party's over, so to speak. The vacation is over. It's time to dive back into the regular flow of things. For an outcome card, you are pulling currently a reversed Ace of Cups. Reversed because this is a final outcome that hasn't happened yet. When we look at readings and we say, is this well aspected or not? What is the quote unquote final result? The final result as the Ace of Cups, think of that as the Holy Grail. The Ace of Cups is literally the idea that you have for anything that is a positive emotion. That is the thing that will come out of this. And because it's the ace, it's marking a it's like a higher level of achievement. It is a really strong presentation of something that is positive. So it's not just like a little tiny spark, it's like a really great, sizable situation. Um, there were three cards that jumped out of the deck as I was shuffling. This is the star. This is literally the card of hope and well aspected things. You also pulled a two of rods. This talks about projects that have already been initiated, and now we are taking the next step forward. You're also pulling the hanged man. This talks about somebody who has a lot of experience in an area in general, and what they do is they submerge themselves into some area that they have less direct experience with to see someone else's perspective. I feel like that's directly tied to this Nine of Cups and this idea of taking the situation to a group of trusted advisors, that somebody in that group is going to be able to allow you to see the situation from a different perspective. But again, you're pulling the Ace of Cups, you're pulling the Star, so this is really well aspected.
Well, that's I'm excited for her. I'm very excited for Wendy. Can you tell people if you can put it in the chat? And I know you may be driving. If you can't, I understand. But if you can put it in the chat, where do people find your book on Saturday when it does come out? That would be fantastic. And we will be talking to Wendy, and hopefully we will be helping you find her book. Wendy is known as the millionaire maker. Okay. She works really hard for you to make your first million so you can continue to make more after that. But that was kind of neat. I like that. And I like the whole marriage and business thing, because Wendy and I just recently we connected in business, so maybe that's it's talking a little bit about us. We'll see how that goes. How to live like a rock star.vip is where you can find this book starting on Saturday. So, um, you are very welcome, Wendy. She says, thank you very much, Lynn. But you are very welcome, Wendy, and I look forward to talking to you soon. So, um, I have somebody who sent me a text. For some reason, they don't like using the chat. But I've got a really good friend named Brad, and he would like to know what steps he has to take to find his next career.
All right.
Good luck in your meeting today, Wendy.
Okay, so the question was what steps need to take to succeed in his career?
Yeah, he's looking for a new career, so he's looking for what steps he needs to take to get to his next career.
So the first card that is representing Brad is cups. Pages are message, cups are feelings. The card is reversed, indicating that something hasn't happened yet. In its simplest translation, Brad needs to get in touch with his. So, in other words, there's a way to analyze this based on, how much money am I making and the logistics and travel and so forth. But then there's that question of what do I really want to be doing? What really motivates me? So, that is a question that still requires some exploration. We're pulling a Four of Swords, which we saw earlier, again under this question of, the sort of unresolved emotional soul searching about career. And the Four of Swords upright means that this is something that you need to take some time to figure out. So don't just jump into something because, oh, I think I like it. Take some time to think it over. We
That's
have
wonderful advice, anyway.
We have this appearing again in the past position, Seven of Swords, as we learned earlier about potential theft of data, or that is in his past position. So this would indicate somebody who, in their prior career or in their prior jobs, felt as though they were being underappreciated, like they were doing a lot of thinking and a lot of extra work and a lot of extra effort, and either they weren't being noticed or they weren't being compensated appropriately. The Two of Swords is coming up with what is on your mind right now. Literally a decision card. If you look at the card, the character in the is blindfolded. What that means is that when you are making this decision, there's going to be some piece of information that you're just not going to get. No matter how much you turn it over, the answer is not going to be so super obvious. In the future, we have a reversed High Priestess, the card of intuition that is reversed. And so, what that means is this really is a decision that once you decide essentially what is in your heart, take your time and make this decision. But once that decision is made, it is going to be a much more logical process. So if you don't feel like you're the type of person who, is able to go inward and then have the answers just float to the surface, that's okay. This is going to be a lot more the of the new career is going to have a more definite rational sort of pathway. Now, here are some things that are coming up that you want to keep in mind. We have a reversed Two of Cups. This essentially means of friendship or partnership that, as a result of your career change, would potentially become disrupted. And so that's something to think about. You're also pulling a reversed Lovers, means that there is some aspect of your new career that would have an impact on it. And so this really um, a conversation about what do you feel in your heart is right for you versus what are the feelings and emotions of the people who are closest to you. And that's really where the decision has to be made. You are also pulling a reversed Six of Cups. Six of Cups generally talks about children or work with children. And because it's reversed, the reading is either suggesting, hey, if you were thinking about working with kids, maybe this is not the path. Or if you are choosing a new career path, then there are going to be some limitations around children, either if you have them or how much time you get to spend with them. We are pulling, again, the Ace of Cups is coming up as ultimately this is well aspected. Should you go on this inner journey? And we are pulling a reversed Two of Rods. Um, this card talks about taking action. So once you decide and you're certain on what your path needs to be next, this card is saying you don't actually have to do anything about it. It comes to you. So it's not a situation where, hey, I decide what I'm going to do and then I go apply for 500 jobs. It's deciding what I'm going to do and then I'm going to wait for that opportunity to.
I I don't want to give too much away, but it is kind of funny. One of the places that Brad did apply to asked him if he had any babysitting experience. Okay, this is one of my really good friends here, and I I wouldn't I wouldn't ask him to babysit my kids. I love the guy, but I'm not going to ask him to watch my kids. My kids are in their 20s and 30s, and I still wouldn't ask him to watch them. So, yeah, but that was really funny that actually came up. I was like going, oh, I don't know if that one fits him. Um, when oh, she had to make her appearance. So she's like, "You're having a show, and I didn't get my nose up there." But what is the difference in what is the difference in reading when they're inverted? Is it just there's a meaning and there's a meaning when it's one way or the other, or is there like some that are completely different meanings?
The short answer is it can mean whatever you want it to mean. For me, a reversal just means that either, depending on the position, the spread, it either means this is something that's not going to happen at all, or the opposite, the traditional meaning of the card, or that it's something that hasn't yet, but it isn't, as solid energetically as something.
Okay. um and when you first got your reading, how well did you take that? Was it something that you just went with and you ran with, or was it something that you really had to put the thought behind it? It's like, okay, this is a little startling to me. Do I really want to, do I really want to go down this path?
Here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just can't see you anymore. I think we're going to have to redo it again. Okay, can you hear me now? No, gonna have to redo it again. So yeah, we're gonna have to redo it. Let's redo it one more time. Okay. So she will be right back. And we're gonna have her going ahead and uh, we're gonna have her go back out and come back in, and then
All good
uh,
then. All right.
we're
See
gonna
you in a
ask
minute.
her. We're gonna ask her one or two more questions, but and we'll go from there. Again, this is really cool because it's something that this is something I knew nothing about until I got with Adrian, and I started learning more about it. And it's weird. I hear all these conversations, and I'm more of a skeptic than anything. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you something. There is an aspect. There is an aspect of a lot of this uh, that really makes you think. It really makes you, you sit there and you're like, huh, how did they get that? And there's things that you just cannot explain. Am I right?
Yes. There are lots of aspects to this that I can't explain that I think about all the time. And, I think about everything from, supernatural forces to mirror neurons. Um, yeah, there are just lots of different perspectives, but we don't have yet.
What is the what was the news that you were able to give somebody, and you don't have to get too personal, but what was the news that you got to give to somebody that you were like, that's awesome, I got to share that with them, that is awesome?
Um, I will actually talk about a reading that was more recent. It was awesome in terms of it was very emotionally moving. And it was somebody who had come to an event and a friend of theirs had just passed away.
Mm,
As things work out, they happen to park their car next to their friend's mother to this event that neither one of them knew they were going to. And the person came over to have a reading with me because visually I reminded them of this friend. And that is what came up in the reading, that the friend had passed away and that they were, still kind of around and lingering and, protecting them. And that was really meaningful because this person, again, wanted to have the conversation about, well, how do I know if this person contacts me, and could this have been something, could that have been something? And that was just a really special moment. I mean, people, all sorts of things come up in these readings, from the super mundane to the, deeply personal. And it's incredible to be able to have moments like that to connect with people.
What do you tell people when they ask or when they come up to you and they're scared of what they're going to hear?
I tell them not to be scared about what they're going to hear. One of my favorite phrases to use is "You are the captain of your own ship." There's nothing that having a tarot reading changes unless it's something you want to change and it's within your power to do so. Um, Life happens to all of us, unfortunately. All of us go through traumas, and people next to us pass away, and we go through hardships. There's nothing about developing your intuition or reading tarot that saves anyone from those things. And so I think the most important thing uh, to come out of readings like that is, how can people help themselves? What areas of their lives are within their control, and how can they set themselves up for, if the outcome is beyond someone's control, at least they can have a softer landing.
Well, I I really, really, really actually, I did enjoy this, and I would like to ask you if you would like to come back and do this more often. I mean, I think that it would be great if we could do this a couple times throughout the year. I think it's really neat. I think it's a nice change with all the wackiness and all the misery and everything that we have around. Just having somebody there that can uplift feels good. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Lynn. I enjoyed not having to talk about bad things today. This was great for me. I really did enjoy this. But would you like to come back and do this a couple times?
I would love to come back.
Lynn, how do people get a hold of you?
My footnotestarot.com. As you know, I am also a business partner with Community Pay It Forward. So I believe under, what is it, supernatural and spiritual, paranormal and spiritual, there's a new section.
Yep. Yep, that we created just for you, which is, well, first off, you deserve it, but you can get a hold of all of her information. I just put her information in the chat, so you can just click on that link and it will go directly to her website. Lynn, I don't want to keep you any longer, but I want to thank you so, so very much. And just to let you know what we're going to do next is we're going to play a little video that explains a little bit more about Lynn. And she's going to talk a little bit about the beginning and where she wants to see footnotes go. So, but thank you so very much for joining us. And I will talk to you, well, probably tomorrow, and we'll get some things set up. So, but yeah, do you have anything else that you'd like to share with people?
Um, Not much other than, yes, please go through the program. I've met a couple people who are in the community who are just incredible human beings with hearts of gold, who are genuinely trying to make a difference in the world. And so, if you're thinking of having a tarot reading, by all means, go through that channel and have a portion of your purchase go toward a charity.
I I don't know why I have to wait until the very end because I'm going to do it to you again. You are also licensed to do something else in your home state. Please tell us about that.
I keep forgetting about it. I recently just became registered. So I live in New York City specifically. I'm in Brooklyn, and so any one of the five boroughs and Long Island also, I will travel to. If people want to get married, I can now perform a official wedding ceremony. I am registered with the Universal Life Church 14. So the ceremonies are non denominational, meaning people can design whatever
Yeah.
you know suits their particular fancy, reflects their beliefs, honors the people they are, their lives to, and their friends, their families. And so that's a journey that I am really looking forward to because tarot can be such a powerful tool. It's really cool to get couples together and have readings and kind of have some of those issues laid for exploration. I think it's a really powerful tool for life.
I think I think you'll get a kick out of this. My wife and I, we of course had the regular. Uh, I'm not going to say a regular wedding. My son is the one who married us. My son from Japan, and but we had the regular Christian wedding where we did all that. But we also had a really good friend who's also a clairvoyant who was here from Utah, and she performed a bonding ceremony at our wedding, which was really neat because, again, this was tying, as you said earlier, and that's maybe something that we could ask real quick before you go too. But it was really combining like two worlds into one, and there was the symbolic gesture to it, and the other thing it did, and this is what I wanted to ask you real quick, was it really kind of showed people that, what you're doing isn't quote unquote witchcraft. It's not the whole satanic. No, this is around us. This is, this is what is around us every day. There's just a lot of us that are closed off to it. Correct?
Correct. I think a lot of us were taught that our relationship to the spiritual has to be mediated by some other person and that we are not allowed to kind of have a direct relationship. And, certainly that's one of the things that got me off a more traditional religious path. I was raised Roman Catholic and I always felt very spiritual, and I was raised with these values of, love thy neighbor as you love yourself, golden rule, and so on and so forth. So, those are the foundations for myself and for a lot of people, in this business that I know. But they didn't feel like the tradition that they grew up in fully accepted them or gave them a place in that community. And so a lot of us tend to carry this spiritual sort of exploration. Well, what can I do? Where can I fit in? Where my relationship to the spiritual is okay and there's a place for it. And what we come to find out is that spirituality is really a DIY thing. Even if you are part of a tradition, everyone has their own internal relationship with
Mm-hmm.
what they believe is beyond us. And, again, things like designing a ceremony are giving people permission to take a more active role and take ownership of their spirituality in a way that can't be dictated by, an organization.
You can be a person who goes to church every Thursday, Sunday, Friday, whatever it is. You can be a person and just not be fulfilled. Um, you can be a person who doesn't step foot in church, but as long as you take and you allow that spiritual feeling to flow within yourself and you are comfortable with it, you can be so much more fulfilled. I tell people all the time, I am religious curious because, and get this, the funny thing is, I was talking to my son in Japan on Saturday, and he got that from me. And so, well, over there in Japan, he's been going to mosques and Buddhist temples and things like that. He's been exploring all kinds of different things over there that he walked up to, in which of course it's closed off now because the tree's falling down, but it's a tree that's thousands of years old that they made a temple out of. And he sent me a picture and he goes, Dad, if there's anybody who's going to appreciate this, it's going to be you. And he sent me this picture, and it damn near brought tears to my eyes because that is where I am the most spiritual, is out in the woods. I get on a motorcycle and I start heading towards the mountains. I get into the woodsy area. I can throw the kickstand on the ground and I can just sit there in the quiet, in the beauty of it. And I never ever feel more comfortable, more just than, than in that moment. And there's there's so much to that, isn't there?
There is. There is. I mean, if you think about, humans as they existed centuries ago, we didn't have anywhere near the amount of stuff and the amount of information, and so much of our existence was literally just spent outside among the trees, watching the animals, seeing the stars. And when we don't have a lot of daily distractions and we take time to center ourselves, it makes an enormous difference in our physicality, our heart rate and our hormones and all that kind of stuff, as well as, our mind clears. I mean, I would say the gateway to improving your intuition is meditation. And I mean, meditation is like right up there with flossing and exercise. Nobody wants to do it, but it's, simple and foundational. And, all meditation is giving ourselves the opportunity to sit in silence in a way that came very naturally to us before.
Yeah. I have, and maybe this is something you and I can talk about privately at some point in time. I have a terrible, terrible time with unguided meditation. I I see that shiny squirrel and I lose my concentration within my own thoughts. And and it's really hard for me to meditate if I don't have somebody help and guide me through it. And I don't know if that's just because I'm new to the whole meditation thing, and I keep hitting my mic, and I'm sorry about that. I don't know if it's I'm new to the whole meditation thing, but the without being guided, and if you start with chants and with chant, with stuff like that, you lose me. I'm just like, I talk enough. I don't want to hear my own voice. That's one of the reasons why I love meditation, to where I can sit in silence, because it's finally done something that nobody can do, and it shuts me up. So, but is that because I'm newer at this, or is it something you just got to teach yourself to do?
It is because you're newer at that. Generally speaking, people have a much harder time at the beginning getting their minds to kind of shut down rather than having, the invading thought, the invading thought, the invading thoughts. So there's definitely a brain training thing involved. Um, One thing that often helps people when they're starting, and as you're saying, they're trying to narrow their focus so that they can relax, moving meditation. And so sometimes if people are walking or if people are running or if people are, doing something with their hands, just that one extra task for the brain to do that's not especially difficult kind of helps prevent it from the thoughts from straying too much.
Well, I know I've said that I was going to let you go a couple of times, but you are just too damn interesting. So it's been a little bit hard for me to do that. But now I promise I will let you go. Lynn, thank you so very much for joining us today. And I really look forward to doing this again. I think it's really fun, and I think it's needed. We did talk about this being something that, yeah, it's entertaining, but you know what? I think that I know for a fact you're going to help Brad, and he's going to find it amusing that you brought up the kid thing. I know he is. I know he's probably sitting there going, well, he's probably yelling at me because I used his actual name. He said, hey, don't do it. I don't care. What's he going to do? Beat me up? He's a, he's a small guy. Whatever. but, and yes, Brad, I did say that. And I know what you told Wendy. I know that meant a lot. And I'm really looking forward to that. But thank you so very much. And I look forward to this long journey where we get to help people.
I look forward to it also. Thank you so much, Zach. Thank you, everybody.
Very welcome. Um, Lynn Sabulski, I I I muted the wrong. There we go. I muted the wrong microphone. That was kind of funny. Uh, that is such a cool thing because it does. It marries in my entire life now because you got Adrian who does this, who lives and loves this stuff. And by the way, Lynn is going to be appearing sometime sooner or later on Adrian's show, which comes on Thursday nights around the same time. So Things Network, you're going to want to check that out because they're going to know more what to say than I do. So this is what they experience. But I really do. I think this is such a wonderful thing because we did get to slow down and we did get to stop talking about the suck. We got to stop talking about everything that's going on that's wrong. We got to get out of our own way for a minute. And that is so important to do. I actually took a respite. Believe it or not, I took a major respite from podcasts and everything for the last 2 days because I had to. I had to get away from all the news. I had to get away from the spewing and the hating and the fighting. I listened to a lot of hockey podcasts, a lot of hockey podcasts. I couldn't listen to much baseball podcasts because my Royals really bit the big one and they're out of the playoffs now. Damn guys, I've been following them all year long. But hockey training camps open today, so again, I am happy, happy, happy. The kids did a great job last week for the Devils, but it was fantastic. So I am going to do what I said, and I am going to introduce you to Lynn in a deeper way. And this is part of our series that we're doing that I really enjoy doing this. And it's getting to know series, and this is getting to know Lynn.
The short answer to why I started my business is that I had a psychic vision of myself shuffling tarot cards. My original career was in college financial aid, and what college financial aid and tarot have in common is that they both involve helping people figure out their goals, figure out their pathways, and figure out how to meet those objectives. And so at the heart of both is this idea of helping people and guiding them to their destination, just in two very different contexts. My business is tarot reading. My business technically is entertainment. So I am the sole proprietor at Footnotes Tarot, and I offer individual and couples readings virtually, and then I also do readings for party and events in person. Even though tarot is considered a form of entertainment, what I have found over the years is that people use tarot as a gateway to things like clarification and hope and healing and just feeling better about themselves and the direction that they're headed. So my job is more of a concierge, where people sit down and they have a question or a problem or a situation, and then we look at some cards and we look to see what type of wisdom and context that those cards come up with. In addition, there is an intuitive element, and so sometimes I will have an intuition about what's happening with those cards in that story. Sometimes the sitter will have an intuition about what's happening. And at the end of the experience, there's this amazing question of, how did that happen? How did that message come out of the cards? How did people think and feel the things that they did at that moment? And to me, that's part of the magic and the mystery of what tarot has to offer. And so I love bringing that experience to other people. think my company is headed on an excellent trajectory, onward and upward. One of the amazing things about living today is that technology is ubiquitous. There was a time just a few years ago where we wouldn't be making this video, I wouldn't be reading for clients virtually, and over the past few years, so many more people have access to this experience. And so all of the things that tarot can bring, all of those elements of healing and fascination and mystery and entertainment, all of those things can now be brought directly into people's homes, and the experience just has a much more broad access and appeal. These days, people are really interested in things like tarot and astrology and divination, and I don't think that's a coincidence when we look at the rise of artificial intelligence. I think broadly we're going into a period of time where people are looking for answers, and looking for answers beyond the traditional streams of knowledge that they've been exposed to. And so I think tarot is just a really cool way to give people a perspective that they haven't had yet. I think the essence of paying it forward for a better tomorrow is rooted in kindness. And so I would say any way that you can be kind, any way that you can go out in the world as someone who is helpful to others, open to others, well-intentioned to others, all the different ways that you can support someone's well-being. Sometimes that looks like something like a direct donation to a charity. Sometimes that looks like just a conversation. Sometimes that looks like help with, babysitting or, scheduling or food delivery or something like that. But there are all different ways in which you can go out in the world and say, hey, I'm going to make a tiny difference today that's then going to have a ripple effect for others tomorrow.
Again, wonderful, wonderful woman. Really neat lady. Wonderful to talk to. And you can find her page right here on Community Pay It Forward, which gives you more of Lynn's story. She came from uh, she really had to take and grab a hold of what was going on in her life and lift herself back up. And I don't want to generalize and say, ladies, that a lot of you can understand that. But the truth is, gentlemen, so can you. Okay? There's a lot of times that we've had something happen that we just needed to either grab on, make sure that we've got a good grip of it, and go, or we were going to fail. Lynn refused to fail. Lynn grabbed it. She found comfort in a path, in something that she enjoyed, and in something that's changed her life. And that's important because that's what we need to do. That's one of the reasons why Community Pay It Forward is here, is because I found comfort, I found joy in something I loved to do, and that was helping people. It was so important to me, and I needed to make sure that that happened. This has been a wonderful, wonderful show for me. Okay, I've really, really enjoyed this. And like I said before, it's really neat to be able to take and decompress, just let it go a little bit. Just take and stuff's not gone, but for a day, I can relax and I can see that, you know what, things are not all venom and spite and hatred and conflict and everything. You can sit there and you can have a little bit of fun, get back to a base of yourself, go from there, grow from there. So uh, please, please, please try it. When you find yourself getting really, really heated, try to find a way to go and find a place inside yourself where you can relax. Try to find a place inside of yourself with, if it's hanging with your kids, if it's hanging with your wife, if it's hanging by yourself in the woods, if it's jumping on a bike and going for a long ride into the mountains, do this. We all deserve to feel better than what we do right now. We are in charge of our own lives, and we need to make sure that we maintain that. So please, for yourself, do this. QR code up in the corner. Please download the app today. Like right now. Like scan this right now. And the app's going to come up. If you've got an Android phone, we're still working on the Apple. Okay? Please bear with us. We're trying to get that done. But right now, scan, download on your Android device. Get the app. Start using it. Start using it because it's important that we start helping other people. The QR code right down below that is how you can get involved in the 2025 Chili Cook-Off for books and board games. One of the prizes that that people are going to be able to bid for is a reading by the wonderful lady you just saw. She has donated a reading for that event. So you're going to be able to win a reading by Lynn at the Chili Cook-Off. So you can be part of this too. You can use your business and throw a little bit of advertising your way, just telling people, hey, we're here, we're supporting this. We want to make sure that we're getting these books into the kids in northern Colorado hospitals. Even if we're in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or whatever, wherever you're at, it doesn't matter. You can join us, you can make a difference. We need volunteers, please. And what I'm talking about is people who understand how to work with computer or with websites, people who know how to work with apps, people who can help me maintain things. Things are actually starting to get a little bit busy. I'm needing a little bit of help. We are going to start really working on the Come Together Compass. That is going to be starting here in literally 2 days. We're going to start putting that all together. So we need your help. I need a couple of volunteers, people who just say, you know what, I've got an hour, 2 hours sometime throughout the week who can work with me, work with Mr. Z, work with Michael, and make sure that everything is kept up and updated. So if you would like to talk to us about volunteering, like I said, we're not asking for a lot, an hour, hour and a half of your week. Please volunteer if you can. So again, download, join us. Join us for kids. Volunteer if you'd like. Be good to each other. We're all we got. This is it. Again, get out there. Be with yourself. Be within yourself. Be with your family. Be part of your family. Take care of yourself. And please remember, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone. When we all come together, I want to thank you so very much for joining me today. I also want to thank our responders who came on and our question people. Make sure that you go to Wendy's website on Saturday and buy her new book, How to Live Like a Rock Star, Tour Bus Optional is the name of the book. You can pick it up on Saturday. Help discover your path in wealth. Again, another person who had to pick herself up. She lost her husband in a motorcycle accident when she was in her early stages of her life. Had a very little girl and lost her husband. And she had to decide, am I going to make something of this or am I going to fail? Failure is not an option. You can find out a lot about all of these people if you visit our website, because we've got a lot of wonderful people who have went through different things, who are working very, very hard to build something of what they've, from what they've got. You can get a hold of me at Zach@communitypayitforward.us. That's ZAK@communitypayitforward.us. Our website is communitypayitforward.us. That is communitypayitforward.us. You can also get a hold of me at my For My Card. That's my digital business card. Just go to formycard.net and then put in Zach Clayton, and it'll appear again. If you go back to a couple pages before, you will see the QR code that's in this corner, the bottom corner over here. That is my For My Card. That takes you directly there. That'll give you everything that you need to connect with me. You can also find all of that information on the website, or again, just reach out to me via email. Please love each other, folks, because somebody out here loves you. I know I screwed that up, but I was trying to be slow with it and it just didn't work. Please love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. There, got it done right. And thank you very much. We will be taking a couple weeks to, there might be a couple interviews. I haven't decided yet, but we will probably be taking a couple weeks off because I am going to do something with this. With the background, we're going to do something different. We're going to clean up this office. We're going to make a go of it because winter's here. Winter's coming. Oh my God. I just did a Game of Thrones thing. And I just want something a little bit different. So we will be back after my daughter's wedding, the 1st of October. So it'll be the second week in October. We will be back to live shows. Until then, again, please love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. My name is Zach Clayton. Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. From myself, from my wife, from our families, have a great day, great evening. Take care of each other, and we will see you soon. Thank you very much. We are excited to introduce you to the brand new Community Pay It Forward app. First, head to Google Play and download it by searching for Community Pay It Forward or simply scan the QR code on your screen. Simply find your Partners tab on the bottom of the screen. Open the Giving Partners tab and explore the businesses that care. Choose a partner that satisfies your personal needs. Shop with a purpose. Do business with your chosen partner either online or through their pay portal or in store. If you shop in person, please don't forget to keep your receipt. And now the magic happens. Start your donation. In the app, tap the Start Donation process. Enter the partner's name, purchase date, and the amount spent. Take a quick photo of your receipt or upload it from the memory in your device. Choosing your mission to support is the most important part of this process. What touches your heart? What drives your emotions and makes you want to support them? there are so many wonderful people doing fantastic things, and they can be found under the Mission Partners tab on the bottom of the app. Confirm and submit, and that is it. You can also discover further features on the app, such as joining local events in your community, tracking your personal impact and donation history, keeping your profile up to date in the Account tab. All this with our easy-to-access features like dark mode and larger font size. This will allow you to do your business and browse the app with comfort and accessibility. Are you a small business owner? You can join us too. Download the partner booklet directly from the app, pick your package, and instantly become part of a positive solution. The Community Pay It Forward app makes it easy to turn everyday shopping into meaningful change. Download it today and help us create a stronger, more connected community. Because at Community Pay It Forward, we believe no one needs to go it alone when we all come together.
Say, bring me home, out alone, to show me the way. You wanna hold the heart of Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear to be a part of Sunset Boulevard.